Hey there, are you a travel creator who is beyond trend chasing and beyond viral views? You've already made it. Your content is working. You are getting brand deals. But now you're kind of like a deer in headlights. Well, it might be because you are treating your travel content creation like an influencer and not a business owner. Over here, I've created the only business building community for established travel content creators who need to save time and create a bigger impact online. We're building this together and you're totally invited. There's literally no community for successful travel content creators who want to build actual businesses and not just chase followers. The first round of this program is very limited to a small number of creators because I want to keep it that way. We're building this together. You literally get one-on-one personalized support with me for a really good deal, if I don't say so myself. To get in on the travel creator business plan, you're going to need to send me a message on Instagram and I will send you all the details. Hey travel creators, happy to have you here and to be back in your ears if you're new here. Hey, I'm Laura and I am a content strategist for travel creators. And today we're getting down to business, literally. I want to tell you some of the things that if I was going to start my business over, what I would do differently. And if you have been a content creator who is treating your content like a business for quite some time, I would love to hear from you some things that you would do differently. Let's compile this list for other fellow creators who are working on turning their content into an actual business. Now, there's a couple of things just off the top of my head. And again, I imagine this being an episode that will have more parts to it in the future because I just think there's more things that I could reflect on. And of course, we always grow as business owners and there'll be different things that we will have wanted to change. So the first is no matter how many new clients or projects I am working on or you're working on, I wish I had made more time to work on my actual business rather than just doing client work. Even at the very beginning, when you're just doing that transition from maybe working for somebody else or doing freelancing part-time to doing it full-time and then starting your business, I wish I had made more time to work on growing the business rather than just taking more client work and working in the business. Because really the goal is to build something and then get out of it, because otherwise you just own a job instead of owning a business. So I wish that from the beginning I had dedicated time to working on things that would help my business grow. Similarly, I wish that I had set up proper systems from the beginning because what happened is I decided to start a business and then I got really busy. And then I kind of had to build the systems and structure backwards because people were hiring me. And that is a great problem to have, but it is still an issue, especially in terms of growth, because you just don't have the infrastructure to get yourself to the next level. So I really wish I had spent time learning more about business systems in the beginning to figure out what I would actually need in order to help me get to the goals I want to be at. That's kind of the inspo for why I started the Travel Creator Business Program, where I take the members in and we are looking at the back end chaos and really building the systems and structure from the beginning. Or even if they are an experienced creator, looking at what's going on to figure out how can we make this so that you are not owning a job, but you are owning a business that somebody can come in and do some of this work for you. So that's really the goal. So I wish that I'd spent more time setting up proper systems, even just learning what systems would I even need? What do I even need to be successful? And if you go and Google, what business systems should I have? What's going to come up is so much stuff. And the thing is, it's going to be different no matter what kind of business. It's going to be different for you because really some of the most important things you might need are okay, you're going to need an email, which you likely already have, and it's okay to use your personal one for now, but we're making a business, so we should make it a little bit professional. You're going to need a way to schedule meetings with people. You're going to need a way to invoice people and a way to receive payments, and then potentially, eventually, a way to send emails, like email sending software. You're going to need some sort of spreadsheet. You are going to need a landing page if you don't want to build a website right away. You are going to need like an opt-in form. So there's going to be a whole bunch of advice out there on what you should have or should do, but it really just starts simple of like, what is the most basic thing that I'm trying to achieve and what tools would I need to achieve that thing? This is going to change, of course, as your business changes, but I wish that I had spent more time thinking it through and really learning the tools that I decided to purchase or like start to use or subscribe to fully before diving more into taking on more clients, because it just gets messy. Similarly about the website, I wish I didn't spend so much time on my website until I was incredibly clear on what I wanted to offer or what I wanted to do. Your website is kind of a little obsolete, in my opinion. Please correct me if I'm wrong, website people. Oh my gosh, I want to actually have a conversation about this because I think this is really interesting. I feel like you could get by with a landing page or an opt-in form to your newsletter a lot longer or before you might need like a full-blown 5-page to 10-page website. I just don't think it's the best use of your time at the very beginning. I really don't. I think it's incredibly important to own a place yourself on the internet, but that can be your email list, that can be a single landing page, and you can set those up through like Kit. You can set that up easily through Squarespace and maybe not pay for like their full features. I just think you don't need to dive right into creating a 5-page website in the beginning. I don't think so. Again, I would love to have a real conversation about this on Threads. Please come and tell me why I'm wrong. I genuinely am curious what more experienced website designers and website marketers would say about this. Another thing I wish I did sooner was build in learning days. Because when you are starting a business, okay, I've talked about this on this podcast before, but essentially selling something on the internet is simple, but it is not necessarily easy because you have you and you have the thing you're trying to sell and you have the people you're trying to sell it to. It's really like A to B. Like, okay, you have the thing you're going to sell, you have the people you're going to sell it to. What is in the middle of that A to B, or this 1 to 2, and what is this 1.5 in the middle, is all of the shiny object things, all of the courses, the memberships, the podcast episodes you listen to, the books you read, all of this internet screaming or book information about what you should be doing, which can really veer us off course. And it's very important to learn. And I wish I had spent more time actually finding different, like I found so many different resources I wanted to like research or learn or watch or read. And I wish I had spent more time building those into my actual schedule, but also critically looking at some of those resources that I like pulled aside, like maybe they were free webinars or masterclasses or whatever, and thinking about, is this something that I actually want to learn right now? Is this actually gonna be helpful right now? Or is this just like for a rainy day learning thing? So I wish I had built in more specific time to sit down and look at those resources, maybe before I might need them. Again, hindsight is never wrong and it's hard to know like what you might need before you need it. But making the time to continuously like harness your craft and learning something, maybe it's something that's even outside of your comfort zone, is super important. And maybe that is, again, about like learning these gross systems, you know? Similarly, another thing I wish I had made time for from the very beginning, which is very hard, is admin days. And by that I mean, all right, did we get, maybe in the beginning for you this looks like, did we make sure we got a testimonial from that past client? Do I have that documented somewhere? Did I make sure to set up XYZ thing in my email? Do I have the right contacts for blah? Setting those up, or like, let me think about how to make a lead magnet or setting up this form. I wish I had built in more days to do the like unfun kind of clerical cleanup stuff. Because again, that's part of like a system that you can then pass off to somebody else eventually. But those things are so important and it really adds up. Oh my gosh, and can create so much work in the future if you don't take care of the little things along the way.
Hey, I'm Maddie from Paid to Travel, the UGC podcast, where I teach everyday people just like you how to make money through content creation so you can spend less time sitting behind a desk and more time exploring the world. And here is your UGC tip of the day. You don't have to have any social media presence, content experience, or an aesthetic home to make money online with UGC. Brands want real, raw, everyday people who look and speak like their customers, not unrelatable influencers and models. I recently interviewed my student Rochelle, who made $450 in UGC deals in her first 3 weeks with no experience. She's a mom, a college student, wife, employee, and she lives in Missouri in a 90s modular home. If you want to listen to that interview, check out episode 7 of the Paid to Travel podcast. It'll be linked in the show notes below. Know, back to Laura.
Another thing that I wish that I had done from the beginning that I don't know, this is hard. It's even hard for me now, is to not spend time doing any tasks that aren't directly tied to helping me reach my goals. So you set very specific goals, and then you don't do anything else unless it is helping you achieve that goal. That's literally it. But like I said, remember when I was like, you have A and B, and the messy stuff in the middle is where you get distracted and thrown around? That same applies here. It's really hard to not get stuck in all of that shiny object syndrome when you are just trying to create a good product and find the people to sell it to. So it's very easy to work on tasks that aren't directly tied to the goal you are trying to achieve. And that's the whole thing. It's hard, especially because like a lot of this content creation business systems and things that we do are such a long-term game that you're like, oh man, I'm going to start this podcast because I know it will benefit me in XYZ years, which is true. And that's where it can get a little tricky, is like knowing, should I spend time on this thing right now because it's going to be good for me later? Or should I wait to start that and start this thing that is actually going to help me hit my goal right now? So it's a little bit of like, what can I do to satisfy my long-term goals? What can I do to satisfy my more short-term goals? So that's like essentially the entire difficult part of owning a business, is making those decisions. But once you are very clear on your goals and every single thing that you do, you're deciding, is that going to help me get closer to XYZ goal, whether that's long-term or short-term, can really guide your time. And that's what can make this much more efficient. I'm not saying it can make it more easy, but it can make it more simple. So those are some of the things that I wish I had done from the beginning. Are there any things that you think you wish you would have done maybe a couple of months ago, maybe a few years ago, that now you're like, oh man, if I didn't spend so much time messing around doing XYZ, I feel like I would have hit this goal, or maybe didn't hit this goal and that was a good thing. I'm sure this episode will evolve into more, but I just wanted to give you a short and sweet list of things that I would have done differently if I had to start my business over. So if you have questions, or if you want to add to a future episode, I think it would be fun if you mentioned me on Threads or on my DMs in Instagram at Travel Content Writing. I would love to include something that maybe you wish you would have done sooner into a future episode. I think it could be really fun to have a listener-led episode. So feel free to head on over to Instagram and let me know what you think there. But until then, just keep trying, just keep going. Happy creating, and I will see you later. Hey there, are you a travel creator who is beyond trend chasing and beyond viral views? You've already made it. Your content is working. You are getting brand deals. But now you're kind of like a deer in headlights. Well, it might be because you are treating your travel content creation like an influencer and not a business owner. Over here, I've created the only business building community for established travel content creators who need to save time and create a bigger impact online. We're building this together, and you're totally invited. There's literally no community for successful travel content creators who want to build actual businesses and not just chase followers. The first round of this program is very limited to a small number of creators because I want to keep it that way. We're building this together. You literally get one-on-one personalized support with me for a really good deal, if I don't say so myself. To get in on the Travel Creator Business Plan, you're going to need to send me a message on Instagram, and I will send you all the details.
This podcast was produced by Your Girl Media.